Hey everybody, today we have such a comprehensive topic that may not be very hard, but it is huge and important. We will discuss the QString. The one important thing I want to mention now is that QString class is not QObject inherited. I will quickly show you. Right here, QString, and include QString. And call constructor. Then go to this class. It is not QObject inherited. So when I said that pretty much everything in Qt is inherited by QObject, I meant that those data storing objects are mostly not. So watch the full video, because I will explain most of the methods and it will save your time in the future. If you are very new to programming, the string is a bunch of characters. Each character is a separate object of the type qchar. Qt provides us QString class, so we can easily manipulate 16-bit qchars. Earlier, we had already touched QString in previous episodes, but we have only created it and assigned it. Now I want to cover more useful methods, and as you see in the documentation, we have a bunch of them. But don't worry, sometimes it is even obvious what they are doing with the name. Okay, let's go through that list of public functions. Constructors have many overloads, but as you see, most of them are used for compatibility with other types of string, or just to copy strings. Like here you have this for compatibility, this also, because qlet in one string view and qbyte array is also representing strings, and we will talk about it in next episode. Then this one, it's also about compatibility. And the last one, here you have move and copy constructors. So let's create a few strings for testing purposes with the different kinds of constructor. I'll go to my editor. I hope you already know how to create project. I'm sure that you know. And let's create QString. Let's call it str1 equals to just empty constructor, as I done before. So it just creates, we create str1 as an empty string. And then let's create str2 and pass here some text. In str2, we pass an array of chars, because as you see, the type here, no, you don't see it, maybe here, yeah, you see here, const char 10. The type here, one of possible, is const char str, and there is pure C++ string. I would say like that, it's just pure C++ string. Okay, and let's also create str3, and here pass size and the character we want to fill it with. As you see, now we have also a constructor for that. Here we pass the size and character we want to fill it with. If you think about it, it may look strange, because we pass pure char from C++, but the type in the constructor is qchar here. But it works because qchar has a constructor for char. Here I open it qchar, and you see, we have a constructor for char. Also notice here that qSize type is a pseudonym for another type. Let's go here. No, I want to open here I want to open this constructor, then Q size type. You see it's Q integer for size of and this long type. Okay, and then let's print it all. So let's just create one helper function to print them, print all, and pass here 3 Q strings. Okay, let's include qdebug to use this qdebug to output some data in console. Let's also write that star1 and then we just pass it. And let's see what we got. I'll increase the size of my output. And here we have it. First is empty string, then just some text. And the third one is 10a characters. The next method is append. So it simply adds a character or string. You see here we can pass character or we can pass string or other compatible classes to the original string. We also can pass this kind of string, and I will show you how to do it. Okay, let's go to editor and let's write, for example, istar1 append. Just first is simple string abc, for example. Then str2 append. Let's test the qchar. And third one, I want to show you how to add this kind of string. And firstly, we have to create it. So it's gonna be const qchar. No, not this. Sorry, I mean this. Qchar c equals to new. We specify length when we create that array of qchars. That's, you know, B, C, D. And then we can str3 append C. And also, here, as you see, we should provide the length. But what if we give, for example, 2, not 3? Let's see what will happen. Str1, str2, and str3. Let's see what we got. And here is it only adds first 2, because when we create array, that kind of pointer thing with its array, we should provide also statically length. And if we give 2, then it will add only 2 of 2 elements of array. So the first one adds pure C++ string to the original QString. The next one adds next one is adding 1 character, and the last one, for the last one, I create an array of qchars and append it, and I can specify how many characters I want to add. Okay. Oh, and also, I am sorry, I pretty much forgot. Sorry, we have to, of course, delete all array C, because it's pure array and it doesn't have some garbage collection. So we have to delete it, don't forget, because memory gonna be leaked. I executed it once, so I leaked my memory. Sorry if I leaked yours also. You have to delete it. Sorry, just sorry. And also I want to here write some comments just to separate things, because of course code will be in the GitHub repository in the description if we want to compare or copy or something. Okay, constructor. then append. Okay, so next method, it's arg. I will make comment for it. And okay, this method has a bunch of overloads, as you see, a bunch of them. And I will show you how to use them, because this method is really handy. Okay, let's create new string called QString str, just str, and write here name %1 age 2. Let's specify that it's in meters. %3. And here, this arg method is working with percentage and this number things. So on this place, some value will be inserted. And sorry, I talked and forgot. Okay, now let's try it. I don't want to create new variables for the results, so I will just QDebug it quickly. So okay, QStr arg, and for example, we can specify it Bob, then 30 years and meter 80 here, one by one. So if I run it, let's see. Here I have name Bob, age 30, height 180. Okay, but if you want to pass other types, do this. QDebug arg, and here we can pass first of all Bob, then arg, because this thing returns a string, and because of that I can output it. Then arg, I want to pass here integer, so let's go, and here I want to pass float. It's gonna be double, okay, because I can specify so it will be float, but it will be double right now. I can make it float like that. Let's start and see. Here I have pretty much the same result, because if it's double, then zeros can stretch. And as you see, overloads for that are here. So for the char, int, and so on. Or in the first option, it worked because of that overload. Because of, sorry, this overload, I hope. Okay. The next, let's say, category of arg method is inserting a string giving more functionality. So I talked about this. Here, let's see how to use it. QDebug str arg. Let's say Bob. Then we can specify field width. Field width is just how many symbols will be taken from this string. Let's say here 5, just for some reason. And the last one is field char. So if this number is more than length of provided string, the rest characters will be filled with the thing that we give. So let's take a look. And here you see Bob. It filled like this because we specified 5. Okay, the next 4, I hope 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, are doing the same things, but with the compatible classes: QString view, Q1 Latin string view, and so on. I want to show you another one interesting. Let's go to the next line and arc. Let's say 120, 10, qchar. And I'll show what it does right now. This one is interesting because let's go here. We use this overload. And you probably understand what other parameters do, like integer a, okay, we specify what we want to insert, then field width, how many symbols it could take, okay, I specified 2, so, but 123, okay, then base. Why do I put it here 10, and by default is 10? This parameter, yes, you so called base, and it means the numerical system I want to be interpreted. If I put, for example, 8, then it will be octal. If I put 16, then hexadecimal. So let's try 16. Here we get 78. You are probably also wondering why I explicitly converted char to qchar, because the method has lots of overloads. So here has lots of overloads. We help the compiler to resolve them. If I remove it, we'll get error. So we help compiler to resolve it and know what it should use. As you see, we have similar types. For example, long is also, it's kind of like int, but longer, I think, q long, and so on. But what about double? Let's try to use it. Because we have one new argument, for no, not one. We have format and precision and what it does. Let's see. So in the same, let's go arc. And for example, just so you know how it works, let's put it like this. Let's start, you'll just see, then I'll explain. Okay, what just happened? One by one. It's not the correct way, what I showed you. Oh, sorry. Here, what we got? Double A. Okay, we gave double that we want to insert. Then field width. Okay, 6. It's more than, so we have here the minus. And point is also taken 1, so 5 and 1. Then G. I will now give you the full list of possible ones. G is just general format, and the number is displayed in the shorter or fixed point or scientific notation, depending on the magnitude of the number. I read it from what I know, that so far I don't know that intelligent words, so I'll show you the full list what it does that I found. Okay, the next is precision. For it just about this. So if I, for example, put 1, here what I get, it just rounded to this. So it does exactly it. Let's put 3, and it should be in correct way. Pretty much. Okay, we can put 4, and here put also 4, because we don't want any minuses in our height. Okay. Because it's about this format. Okay, sorry. If you put 4, if you put F, you got it like this. And here, it's right. Okay. As you see, you can experiment a bit with those values. It's interesting with the floats. And okay, let me show you the full list of possible formats. I'll just copy and paste them. F, fixed point notation, number of displayed in standard way. In standard fixed point notation, just like this. Is a scientific notation. E is just like, you can see on example what it means. G, as I used, depending on magnitude, and G the same but uses uppercase letter for the exponent in scientific notation, like this. Okay, it was a pretty long method. Let's jump to next. Assign method is used, as you probably guessed, to assign another string to our string. It, as you see, since 6.6, Qt 6.6, so it is brand new method, and you can notice here pretty strange types that we probably didn't saw earlier, called QString, QAnyString view, and not Q, just input iterator. Really, QAnyString view is simple utility class introduced in Qt 6.6 that supports all string representing types. You can think of like it's the same as, like, it can represent QString, QLatin1 string, QString view, and standard C++ strings, raw characters, character arrays, and so on. Input iterator is a utility that supports both Qt and STL iterators. Like, you have iterators in, for example, string, I'll show later, and iterators in vector in STL library. So it supports both. So let me show you how to use it. First of all, let's create, for example, just to show you how to use it with different types, let's create QLatin1 string view. Let's write Latin str. Let's put here hello. Then let's create, I want to include string from STL, and I want to include a vector from STL. So let's create stdStrings. And std vector of course characters. So it's vector str. No word. And now let's try to use it. So str1, just str that we created earlier. I won't create new strings. I'll just use it in all our examples. First assign. Let's try QLatinString view. As it works, I mean, we don't have any errors. So let's qdebug it, str, and see what we got. Yeah, see, it works. Just hello. And then we can also assign this string from STL library, and it will work the same way. It works because we have this QAnyString view. It's beautiful. As if here we have world. Then let's try to do this with the vector. So str assign. As you remember, we have a first iterator and to the last. And I think you know how to get iterators from vector. If no, just copy me. Begin and vext str, and maybe just to test, we can hit -1. Just to show that iterators works. Iterator works. Let's try. War not word, just word. And just to show you that with our Qt strings, iterators can also work, let's do pretty much the same stuff with Q let one string view. str assign and QStr from the beginning. Let's make +2. We can make the same operations with iterators that we make with the STL iterators. And QStr and also I forgot to make comment. Sorry. Assign. Let's start and see if it works. See if it works. I don't output anything. Just so. Okay, here as you see. And if you don't know what iterator is, you can think of it as a pointer to an element or like to a character. Most iterators have addition and subtraction operators overloaded, so we can easily jump to near standing elements. It's a simple explanation, as quick as I possible can do it. Text method is add is used to get character on a certain position. But of course you can also use square braces operator. I'll quickly show you example so you know. And so we can just qdebug str on, I don't know, second position. We have here LLO, so we're gonna get O str at 3. If I run it, sorry, 3. Okay, now we have this error because index must be in the range from 0 to length -1. So if you write wrong index as I done, you'll get an error. Now it will work correctly here. And but don't worry to also to use square brace operator. It works just the same way, as you see. Back gets the last element of the string. If the string length equals to 0, you'll get an error. So let's try. Let's qdebug. Steer back. And then let's just for testing purposes make the string empty with the length 0 and try to call it. We'll get error. Here as you see, assertion error. And in the first case, when we have something, it just gets the last element of the string. So I'll comment it because I don't want to get any errors. Let's go next. We have begin. In one of the previous examples, we used it. So I won't explain iterators here because it is basic stuff and you should know it from some beginner C++ tutorials. But begin just returns us iterator to the beginning of the string, as we done it here. Just iterator to the beginning of the string. Let me just quickly show you example. qdebug str_begin. We can just get it like that, or let's make the second, and also let's assign something. I don't know, ABC. And we can of course get the value from iterator with the asterisk operator. As you hear, we just get place in the memory because it's a pointer, and here we get value from this pointer. So the next one, we have here capacity. Capacity returns the maximum number of characters that can be stored in the string without forcing reallocation. Classes like QString dynamically allocate memory when the count of elements is bigger than capacity. It means that we have certain capacity. Let's say here, I will try to draw it. We here have some capacity. No, let's don't use title. It's our capacity. And capacity can be like this, but our string we only have this much data. That you can understand it in that way. So let's try it with our str. What we'll get? Interesting. Debug. First, let's write str just to see what we have, and then str capacity. Sometimes the numbers are not so obvious, you know. Capacity. We have ABC, we have already 3 characters, and capacity is 32. As you see in the output, we have 32 capacity, but the length is only 3. Why? Earlier, we assigned different values, and the longest one was probably here. Probably here we assigned the longest value, it was something like that. I think, yeah. And I don't want to count how many is it, but when the string grows, Qt typically increases the buffer size geometrically. It means that doubling the size or growing by a constant factor. I mean, it could be like length multiplied by length when we insert so many characters. And then cbegin and cend are not very interesting. They just return the same iterators but constant ones. So I can just let me just copy and paste example. So you see, it's really not that interesting. Here, just remove. I mean, you can use it that way. A constant iterator, as you heard here in name, we can't change it later. We here can say -1, but then we can't. And you see what we get. But don't forget here some interesting thing. First is cend, and we get null. So don't forget that the end iterator is standing on empty space. That shows the string where the end is. And to point at the last character, you should subtract 1. Here we have last character. Then we have chop. Chop removes characters from the end of the string. We can specify how many characters we want to remove chop, and it will remove. So let's say str is equals to ABCDE, and then str chop, let's say 3, and see what we got. AB. It just removes last 3 characters. And important thing that if you, for example, you have now lines 2, and what if you will write chop 5? Then pretty much nothing will happen. You won't get any error. It will become just empty string without any exceptions, errors, issues, crashes. As you see here, just empty string. Mm, the chopped method differentiates only in the thing that it creates a brand new string instead of modifying the old one. So here you see it returns void, but int, and it returns QString, brand new, a copy. Chopped, and let's say str is also equals to the same. And then we can't just write it like that. We should, let's say, qdebug, and inside it write chopped 2. And if I now qdebug just the string, nothing will happen. Because, as you see here it chops, here not. Because it returns just a new string and not modify our. The next one, clear, as name suggested, just clear string. Let's quickly test it. Str clear. What will happen? It will clear our string, so we will get empty one. Yes, just empty string. The next one is gonna be compare, and compare is maybe a bit not logical, because how you can compare strings and get integer, but wait a second, I will explain you. The comparison is based on numeric Unicode values, and it also can compare both case sensitive and case insensitive. You can specify it here. Case insensitive or insensitive. And let's write example. I will call static method this compare, because I don't want to create so many variables with string, so many string variables. And let's say x equals to qstring compare. The first one, let's make it equal, but with the different case. And here put case insensitive. So it should be equal. And let's qdebug x. And of course you can also, if your str equals to this, then you can make it that way. It works the same. But here I want to use static method to just not create so many variables with those strings. And now, if strings are equal, the result equals to 0. And in other cases we'll see right now, but let's test this case. As you see, it equals to 0. And let me make my space. Then next, let's say y equals to qstring. Compare and put here just auto car, and it will be qt case sensitive. So now this one is smaller than that, so we should have something bigger than 0. As you see. So in other cases other than that, it returns a negative integer if first string is less than the second string, and the positive integer if first is greater than second. So we can also test the case if, for example, the same but case insensitive. So now we should get negative value, as you see here, because now this one is less than this. in case insensitive format. And by the way, if it is unlogical to you why we have, for example, here uppercase and here lowercase, and it's like higher, it's bigger. As I said, comparison is based on the numeric Unicode values. Here I opened a Unicode character table, and as you see, firstly we have uppercase letters from 41 to 5A. Then and only then we have lowercase letters. So they are standing higher in this table. In ASCII, it's a bit different, so maybe it's unlogical to, but comparison is based on Unicode numerical values. Okay, next we have constBegin. Here also we have constEnd. You know, they are the same as cbegin and cend in STL. So, and they're also like here we saw already cbegin. Yeah, we had cbegin and cend. So they're the same. It is, we can say that constBegin and const and just equals to cbegin and cend, and there exist these ones exist for STL compatibility, but work in the same way. So I think there's no sense to show example because you saw it already. Okay. Next, let's see. constData. It's interesting one. It gives us read-only access to characters. This is the constant. So, for example, let's write constData. For example, I have str equals to hello, and then I want to get it. Char meaning that it's an constant array of characters. So constData. And then just to show you, let's iterate through that array and print it. So for in equals to 1 e as the necessary size. We have a size method just as in STL and I++. And I. Okay, let's see if it works. As you see, hello. And also, if I scroll down, we have this method data. It gives us not constant array of characters. So, you know, if you want to get this pure arrays, you can easily do it. Okay, and then contains. Okay, contains. This method helps us determine if the string contains another string or no. Also, we can use regular expressions, and also we can enable or disable case sensitivity. Okay, let's try. I will say that let's just we have hello, so use known by us method append, we used it, and append world, and that's all. Hello world. So let's, for example, if str contains rld, and then qdebug contains, and I want to here write, and I have to use the backslash because otherwise I will get error because the compiler don't know where string is end, where the end of the string. str contain rl. Then let's test. I'll just copy and paste. For example, here we have hello, and that's also just for clarity. qdebug our string just to know what is inside. Hello world. Let's and also put qteam case insensitive. And because we have here in small case, but it also says that the string contained because we put case insensitive. And I also want to show you an example of how you can use regular expressions in Qteam. But in next methods, I want to show you this because you know they are completely separated topic, and if you want, then you can dive into it later. But really, it is so much to explain if you're not familiar with it. So let me just show you the example. So here we have hello world and our string, and then we can create q regular expression. Let's name it rare. And here, just to find it, and also let's include regular expression and regular expression match. Those types we want to use. And also I'll show you, we're gonna have a warning, and I'll fix it and explain why we have it. Q regular expression match. So we have our regular expression and match. Match. It's like container for strings that are matched. And let's say if str1 str contains our array, and we should provide match. As here we provide regular expression and pointer to match. Pointer, not link, as here. So because of that I use this operator. And if it contains, let's qdebug match, capture it. First one. We have here this warning, says don't create temporary QRegular expression object, you use static. And that means that we have to create it in static. Because in most cases, we create regular expression one time and then use it. And we don't want to recreate it. Okay, but I have some mistake. And yeah, here I should be here because what be doing is use it to denote a word boundary, and we use this use this backslash just to use this one. It's like how the string works. If you want to use a double slash inside string, you should also give before that one. And this b thing ensures that world is matched as a standalone word. And if I try it, I'll get world. And the next method we have here is count. And it provides us a way to count the number of occurrences of string in string. So, for example, let's write some example count and say is there equals to xo 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 xo, and then let's count it. Count equals to str count xo x, because I want to show you one thing. Debug count. Here, as you see, we have 3. So let's count 1, 2. And as you can see, it also counts overlapping ones. So be careful with that. It counts it like that. 1, then 2, then 3. So with the overlapping. And it also have the case sensitivity and regular explorations. Let's use case sensitivity, for example, Qt. Case insensitive, and maybe let's add one more x at the end. We have 4. And the next ones are cbegin and crbegin and crend. And they're the same STL compatible iterators as before, but here we have reversed, and this means that you can traverse string from end to the beginning. This is that. So next is data. I mean, as I told you before, the same as constData, but here you can both read and write. And then and is obvious, you can get end iterator of the string. We talked about it earlier. Then endsWith, and it's more interesting. It's used to determine whether a string ends with it or no. And let me show you example. And with, for example, if str ends with x o and put here case insensitive, then we can qdebug contain. Oh no, endsWith, not just contain, endsWith. And as you see, no, because here we have it like that. So x like that, endsWith. Okay, fine. And you also have method pretty similar to this. Let me find it. Starts with the same, but not from the end, but from the start. Okay. And where we here. Then we have arrays. Arrays, we can use it to remove some characters from different parts of the string, providing iterator pointer iterator that points to where to start and where to finish, or just single iterator to what character we want to delete. And let's try. It's str equals to abc d e f g h, and then str arrays from strbegin, or let's use cbegin. It's more like this, we have to use here cbegin because we have const iterator. We should provide it. Let's say +3 to move it 3 places ahead, and then cstr cend -2. And what we will get, let's qdebug string. As you see, we move it 3 places, so it's standing like here, and then to cend -2. So it's standing here. So from here to there, we remove def. And let's test also arrays. If we put, for example, str cbegin, only the beginning one, for this overload right here. And I think you know what we will get. Just remove a from the string. Let's move here we have fill. Fill doesn't have any overloads, and we use it to fill the full length of the string to the character we provide. For example, str fill, let's put a. So if I debug it, I have a because length is 4 and fills the full length of string with our character provided. Next one is first. We have two overloads, and it returns a string that contains the first n characters of this string. But don't use it if you are not sure the number you provide is less than the length. So let me show you what I mean. First, if I, for example, qdebug str first, I don't know, 2, it will work okay. I will get AA, as you see. But if I, for example, don't know how many characters inside, just in case, and put 20, I'll get error. Let's see. So in this case, if you're not sure if you're not sure the number you provide is less than the length, you have the separated method called left, and it here. Let me also test it quickly. Left. It won't throw you errors and just get AAA. And next method is indexOf, pretty important one. It returns the starting index of a string or character inside, and it search forward from index position from, so we can search for like next occurrences. Let me show you what I mean. indexOf, and let's say it's the name of some file, my text file.txt, and let's qdebug, just qdebug str indexOf and this match string. For example, let's search for txt. As see we have txt. Let's put here also. Here txt and here. So firstly, it will get us, let's see, this index 2. Yes, so the starting point, starting index of this internal string that matches. But We also can provide this from where we should start searching. For example, I'll put here 5. So it searches the tense occurrence in this string, and that's pretty useful. The next one here, insert. It inserts a given string to a specified position and then returns the reference to the string with newly added characters inside. So we can write something like insert cbegin insert. I don't know. Let's put here. First, we have to put index, the position where we want to insert it, and then I don't know, some asterisks. And it returns us a reference to newly added characters inside. So if I just give the voc string, I'll have the same as you see. It inserted us this string inside. Then we have isEmpty, isLower, isNull, and so forth. It's pretty obvious what they're doing, and isEmpty and isNull are similar, but the difference is visible when we compare a string with an empty string and with no value at all. So what I mean by that? Here is empty, null. For example, if I can debug str is empty, what I will get? It's obvious that I will get false because we have some value here. But then I write str and put and assign to it empty string. And then what? I'll get true. But if I call str is null, you debug it. I'll get false. Why? Because empty string is not the null. And if when we will get true is if I, for example, create null str, let's say it, and not assign it anything at all. And then if I queue debug, null str is null. Then I will get true. That's why this exists. You see, I get true. And this last thing. Then we have isLower and then isUpper. And it just checks if all characters are in lower or uppercase in the string, nothing more. Then is right to left. It checks if the text in string should be written from right to left based on its content, because in some languages we write from right to left, not from left to right, but reversed, like from right to left, and it just checks it mostly for displaying in parts and how we properly should display it in our GUI. Then we have isValid UTF-16, and it ensures that the string does not contain any invalid surrogate pairs of or invalid code points for UTF-16 encoding. It is pretty rarely that you have something invalid for UTF-16, but sometimes if you have to validate, you can do it with this method. And I have last and also first, where I don't remember if we covered first method. First, where it is here. Yeah, we covered it, and it works the same as first, just from the end. So as you remember, where we have it, first, yeah, here, it gets first values, some some number of first characters in string, but in our case, last, yeah, it works the same, but from the end. Then last indexOf works the same way as first indexOf. So first just indexOf, where indexOf, but from the end, exact same way. Then we have left, and yeah, I think I showed you before, but it returns a substring that contains n leftmost characters of the string, and the difference that first, and the difference with this first method that I showed you before is that it won't throw an error if you give not valid argument. Just quickly, I will show one more time. Debug str, and we should assign it, or not, let's not assign. Okay, let's assign. I don't know, so ABC. Here we go left 10. So it gets n leftmost characters from the string and not throw an error if you go out of scope. The next one we have here is leftJustified, and it returns a string of a given size that contains this string packed by fill character. And if truncate is true and width is less than length of string, it will delete the remaining characters. Let me show it in the example. Left just field. So let's say we have something in our str. Let's maybe add more to it. Oh no, it's good. Okay, let's say str equals to str left just field because it returns new string, and here provide width, I don't know, 5 instead of 3 that we have here. Then fill character, I don't know, asterisk, and truncate false, so we can leave it as default just. And let's see what we'll get. So as I said, it returns a string of given size that contains the string packed by the fill character. So you see, we provide this length, and if it is bigger than size of our string, then the remaining characters will be filled with this fill character. But in other case, if, for example, here we provide, I don't know, 2, what we'll get? Let's see. We'll get the same, and sometimes you want this behavior, sometimes you don't, and because of that we have this truncate false or true. By default it's false, but here if I specify true and provided with is less than size, then string will be truncated to the specified size. Okay. The next method, length, you will use it all the time. I think you understand what it does. It just basically returns the length of string. And just to make it more interesting, let me also show you how to iterate over this string. So let's assign ABC, D, and then I can iterate over it. I'm less than str length, just constant value of sorry, not constant value, it's constant method, returns as q size type. I previously showed you there is pseudonym for other type, and here let's q debug I. Either we can use add method or no, sorry, not I, str add method, or more frequently used curly braces operator, and get it by index. So we get A, B, C, D, E. So what we have next? Locally where compare, it's very similar to the compare one. It's not really important. Max size, it's also very abstract thing for mostly embedded devices. The mid, it's more interesting ones. Interesting one. So let's see. Let me show you what it does. And mid is very similar to the method called first that we previously saw. But here you can provide from what index to start. I mean, here you have first, and you just start from the beginning. But in mid, you can specify from what index you want to start and where to end. I mean, it's not where to end, but rather just size of string you're getting. Let's say mid. And for example, here I have 2 and 2. CD, because see, we how these parameters are called position and n. So we put position to 2 and we start here, and then we go 1, 2. It's like the size of internal string we want to get. We're getting it. Okay. Then I have normalized. It's also not so rare, not very frequently used. Then prepend. No, if you see, it has a bunch of overloads, mostly for the compatibility, but pretty important. I mean, pretty useful for them. Prepend. As the name suggests, it adds a new string or character to the starting of the string. So previously we just get the starting of the string, and now we can add to it something. Let's say, I don't know, 3 dots. Then we will get new one. Like this, we just prepend our string. Then what we have is pushback. Pushback is the same as append, just for the STL compatibility here. Push front, same as prepend. The same way, just for STL compatibility. And begin, we discussed it before. Then I remove. Remove is more interesting because here you have 2 ways to remove something. First is specifying some string or character, and it deletes every occurrence inside your string, or you give index where to start and the count of characters you want to remove. And let's test it. So remove, for example, here I have the string, and for example I want to delete dots, or okay, let's just delete dots, and maybe here I will add a new one, so just to show you what I mean by every occurrence. So it's string, it's not like character, and it should delete all of that. As you see, it deletes every occurrence inside your string. And the second way is str remove. We give some starting index, let's say 1 here, and I don't know, 3 count of characters we want to delete. So we left with AE because we start here 1, 2, 3, and left is AE. Fine. The next ones are similar. Remove add just removes at certain position. I mean, it's obvious. Then remove first and remove last is also pretty obvious. But one important thing, just so you know, remove first, remove last. Here, if you, for example, we have two characters, you remove first, then let's say remove last, and then one more time you remove first. And how do you think should we get error or not? But with this method, if string is empty, just nothing will happen and you don't get any errors. So it's useful sometimes. Let's go here. Repeated. So by the way, and the same as here, just for STL compatibility, reverse iterator to our string. Repeated. So repeated returns a copy of the string that has been repeated the specified number of times. For example, repeated. I say, for example, str equals to text, and I will add space, and then str repeated, let's say 3 times. Then I can debug it, because it just returns a new string. And I have here text. Okay. Next one. Here you also have replace. Replace works similarly to that remove. I mean, the functionality is similar. You provide in similar values, but really it just not removes, but replaces those occurrences. So I think it's obvious what it does. Let's say, I don't know, a quick example. Still we have here text. I want to str replace. First I will specify before, so it's gonna be text, and I want to change it to maybe just char. No, wait. Yes, I can just throw here a char. It's just a character. What will get a. But here we have some logical mistake, because we assign text to it, then repeated it, but this is the result of repeated method. We didn't save it to our string. So because of that, inside string we have only one text. So it is error returned. And if we want to fix it, let's just assign str to this repeated, and then debug only str. So let's see. Get a. Fine. Then the next method, reserve. It's pretty obvious, and you've not really use it. It just reserves some space and capacity of string. Then one of interesting ones, it's section. You frequently can have situations where you have to separate the string and then just get the section of it. And this is exactly what this method is for. So let me show you an example. Section. For example, I have str equals to some path in our file system. It's a root, will be in the user's my file txt. For example, I have something like that. And then you want to get a section of it. So separate by slash and then get section of it. Most times what most programmers will do is use something like split it to array, and then just get by index, or maybe instead of that they will try to make loop, then check whatever it equals to slash, and so on and so forth. It's easier here if you know this method. You can just specify separator, okay, slash, and then put here start point and end point. Let's say first example, I get 1 and 1, so it gets just bin, and you also can specify QString skip empty. You can section skip empty. You can skip or just leave it as default. Skip empty means that if you have something like that, it will not take empty one. Let's see what we got. As you see, we just get bin. And if you want to get bigger section, you can specify, for example, from 1 to 3. I'll get bin users myfile.txt. And it's really pretty useful and can save your much amount of time, not implement it by yourself. And then we got setNum, and you will use this method so many times, I promise you, because it converts number to string and has a bunch of overloads for different types of number. Let's see. setNum. For example, I have number 1, 2, 3, 4. And you want to str setNum to num. So here you want to convert this integer to string and assign this new string to or str. After that you can, for example, debug it and see it works. 1, 2, 3, 4 in our string. It's pretty useful, and you have a bunch of overloads for different types, also double float and so on. Then what is really interesting, simplified. Simplified is pretty interesting because it removes some symbols like simplified, and it removes everything like this, all those symbols inside string, and also white spaces. But not just white spaces, but I mean, if you have many white spaces, it will become just one white space, like simplify string. Okay, so let's try. Here, for example, put 2 white spaces, text, then /t, some other stuff, and then /r/n. But you want to just get your text with 1 white space between them. So you can use str simplified, it returns new string, and then if you could debug it, you see it removes this, it removes also that, and just put 1 space between instead of those all symbols. Then we have one of slice is pretty much the same as mid. So next we have split. Split is interesting one. As I talked about it when I written this example. What it does, split, it just splits our string and put it in the list of strings. So for example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you want to separate them. So you can write QString list L equals to str split and by comma. And also, if you have something like this, for example, you can specify skip empty behavior. Then we don't have to write loop, because we using the QDebug, we can just make it like that. And we see 1, 2, 3, 4. It's so nice, I think. And then starts with works pretty much the same as end with. We talked about it earlier. Then what about the interesting ones? The interesting ones are this toInt, toLong, toLower, toShort, toStdString, toUshort, and maybe toUpper. Probably toUpper. Where is it? toUpper. Yes, those are all to convert string to other things like number or stdString, or maybe just to lowercase string or uppercase string. Let's test it quickly. So let's say toFloat, toStdString, and so on. You can write, for example, str equals to 1, 1, 2, 3 point, and convert it to float. So if str equals to str to float. We also can specify here, as you see, okay. Here, interesting is base. I talked about it earlier in arg method, what is based and why we sometimes want to use it. fstr, and you'll get just float. Yes, or for example, str equals to, I don't know, abc, and you want to make it all uppercase. So let's qdebug and str to upper. The upper, and it's all uppercase. Maybe what is left for us, what interesting, maybe trim it, sometimes useful if you str, for example, you have something like this and you want to remove not needed spaces from the begin and end, you can just write trim it. And you see it removes all unnecessary spaces from the begin and ending. Then you have operators, some static methods that you can read about. I think I showed you pretty much everything you need about this, about string. In the next episode, I think we'll make some small project or just discuss QString view and QByte array, because this is also related to string. But I think it is it for today, because this video is also pretty long right now. So thanks you for watching, and I hope I will see you in the next episode.